Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are taking on a big subject. I'm going to talk about the movie Wonder Woman and why Wonder Woman is actually not such a feminist movie as everybody said. Pop culture gal, that's me. I'm pop culture gal. So yes, Wonder Woman was the first big movie we had about a female superhero. It's directed by a woman, so yay to that and yay to giving us finally a woman superhero and Wonder Woman nonetheless. But actually Wonder Woman is not that big of a feminist movie, you know. Yes, it's a woman, but the number of female characters in it is abysmal. Like, as soon as she gets out of her native alien Themyscira, she becomes surrounded by men everywhere all the time. Her whole character arc is actually centered on a man, like this military man that she meets, and she's not defined as her own person. So it's really hard to see for some people because they see Wonder Woman and they're like, oh, she's badass, you know, she can fight and she's helping the USA and yada 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 yada. But first of all, let's address the lack of diversity in this movie. And you know, actually Wonder Woman in the comic books was stated several times as bisexual. There are several comics where she is officially bisexual. She's dating women on her island because, you know, an island full of women. Some of them are definitely gay. But yeah, the movie, although it's about this woman trying to find her liberty, doesn't tackle real deep issues of either the sexism she enforces in the world now. You know, she goes out and she's all this cliche of women, you know, she's like amazed by babies and amazed by men and very curious, and all she wants to know is about, you know, dancing and men, and she's absolutely obsessed with this one man, you know, and all of them, and it makes her not the strong woman she could be. So it's quite disappointing because you have this big movie, you know, that could be the greatest thing, but it's actually not, you know. She's a goddess. Actually, Diana Prince is an actual goddess. She has amazing powers and everything, but she's just reduced in her own movie to this role of the lovesick woman that falls in love and gets her heart broken in the same movie because he gets to do the big sacrifice, and her whole life is centered around him outside of her world, and she's not even on a quest to find her own identity. She learns a lot of things about herself in this movie, but it's never about her and how she feels as a woman, and it's not that empowering, you know. Like, you get a movie about a woman and it's absolutely about love for her, and it shouldn't be. Like, no. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing that this big movie actually turns out to be not the woman representation we want, because you have like the one officially bisexual characters and you don't make her bisexual, and the movie doesn't have, you know, every superhero movie actually tackles real life aspects, you know, like the X-Men, it treats about racism in a very real way, and you know, it's always about having something more to it. And Wonder Woman does not have that. You mean, you could absolutely get this woman to be a social commentary on patriarchy. I mean, she leaves an island full of women to go into a patriarchal society, especially in the 40s. But it's not about that, you know. She's just about like, oh yeah, I don't like, you know, tight woman clothes, but she still ends up having to fight wearing heels and lovely dresses and being this absolute woman, you know. She's strong, but she's strong in a way that is absolutely pleasing to the male gaze. Like, Wonder Woman is a film that absolutely tailored the male gaze. If you don't know what the male gaze, quick disclaimer, the male gaze was a term coined by Laura Mulvey when talking about movies. The male gaze is actually, it's a different gaze, it's actually a sociological gaze. It's about the male gaze shaping stories. When men write, direct and film stories, they actually put their male experience of it, and so their patriarchal experience of society. And the male gaze really is something when you see a cultural content through sexist gaze. Wonder Woman, even though it's directed by a woman, really tailors to the male gaze, because Wonder Woman only succeeds because she's this pretty thing. She's never angry, she's always quiet and loving and nurturing, and all this kind of what the good woman is in sexist books, you know, in sexist history. A good woman is supposed to be beautiful and lovely and devoted to her man and devoted to family and motherly and have this inner mother instincts, and this woman has never fucking seen a baby in her life and she's in awe of maternity. And it's very, you know, like the picture the far right paints of the perfect woman, you know, the sexist society paints of the perfect sexist woman, and she embodies all of this. And she's strong, but she's the only woman character, and you make her a big cliche of what every cliche every woman ever wanted to fight. And it's very weird, you know, because at first you see it and you're like, oh my god, yes, you know. But first of all, who fights in a skirt? I would like to know. This is not practical. Heels are not practical. You do not fight in a skirt, you do not fight in a bustier. Like, I mean, it doesn't even hold when you're having a normal day, so having a fight with aliens and weird in the middle of a war with a bustier? Like, I mean, I know people who drew that look years ago were absolutely sexist, but we don't have to keep it, you know, it's 2020, well, the movie was out in 2018 or something. But still, this movie embodies a lot of sexist ideals, and they put them on this really strong woman and tell you, you have this great superhero, but she wasn't tailored for women, she was tailored for a very male audience. Because she doesn't question the status quo, she doesn't question patriarchy, she doesn't question the gender roles, she really fits into the gender roles. And for the first female superhero, I mean, like, no, don't give us that. Give us angry, make it relevant, make it political, make it something more. Superhero movies are political, whether you like it or not, they are. Art is political, it's always political, but Wonder Woman missed that. They wanted to be feminist, but they are on this, you know, surface feminism thing, where it's like, you have a powerful woman, be happy with it. But actually, I'm not even sure Wonder Woman passes a Bechdel test, because there's no other woman characters. She can't have, like, conversation with other women about things other than men, because she's the only woman in it. So you can't actually be satisfied with this kind of representation. It's tossing a bone and be like, yes, it's directed by a woman, but it's been written by a man. So Wonder Woman was absolutely praised when it came out, and even I was happy when it came out. I was like, yay, finally a woman superhero that gets her own movie. But now I really see it's not enough. It's not enough, because Wonder Woman is the definition of the perfect woman for people who believe that, you know, genders are real and we know women belong in the kitchen and everything, because she's strong, but she's only feminine, and she's the epitome of femininity and this feminine woman. And it's actually a bit harmful, because anger is not socially accepted into women. When women are angry, they are called hysteric, and you know, they feel like their anger is not legitimate and their strength is not legitimate. And yes, it's important to show that sweetness and kindness are important strengths, but we have only one female superhero because she was the first one to have a movie, so she was the first one and she was the only one, and you use that movie to actually tailor it to men, to say to them like, oh, don't worry, Superman is still stronger than her. Like, you have the first movie about a female superhero and this is what you make of it. Like, a whole movie, she's lovey-dovey with Chris Pine. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you put me in the same movie with Chris Pine, I would probably stare longingly at him for hours. Who wouldn't? It's Chris Pine. But still, you know, her whole movie, like, she gets her freedom, she learns the truth about herself, and all she cares about is this random man. Girl, you can fly. I mean, for real? It's a lot of harmful tropes, actually, and her being stuck into the gender roles of women and the big identity of femininity. And girl, break out of this cage. Check out Birds of Prey instead, because this movie is great and we have more than one female character in it. I mean, more than one that lasts more than 5 minutes, because in Wonder Woman they have other female, but like when she gets out of Themyscira, there is none, actually, really. Thanks for watching. Bye! See you soon for another analysis. Thanks!